Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Al and Lou Toy Review. I know it's been a while, but we're back and hopefully we can provide you with some more videos. Please feel free to comment about some of the figures that we might have in the background, something you might want to see, a little mini review or anything like that. Anyhow, let's get to what we're here for. We're here for Ken. So Ken here from BigBoysToys just recently arrived in my mail. It is a compliment to this Ryu, and I can't wait to open up, check it out, and show you what it looks like. Now here's the box. As you can see, it's a much different box than what we saw with the Ryu figure. But it is still a nice box. It does have an opening. Let's open this bad boy up. Actually, that's the first time I'm opening it. I just realized right now, thinking about it, that Ryu had an opening that was similar, so I can't wait to see it on the other side. I'll check it out in a second. Anyway, you get to be the first to see that. So anyway, that's enough about the box, right? We're here for the figure. Now let's get right to it.
All right, everybody. Here we have the contents of the package fully unloaded for you to look at. First, we have the barrel. We have the stat card. Now, it is in its native language, so if anybody can figure it out, go ahead and post it down below and we'd really appreciate it. The baseboard. The backdrop. And the base here, which is pretty nice. It's very similar to the Ryu version. You have the new Challenger Ken, you have the power connector, the peg, the speaker, the button, and on the back you have the logo, as well as the battery compartment. And of course, most important to everybody is the figure itself. Now this figure comes fully assembled just like this. There's nothing for you to have to connect other than the figure to the baseboard. There you have the details of it. Now these are some crazy lines that are thrown into the figure itself. Now look at that crazy bicep going on. I don't know what's going on there, but you know, this is an anime-ish type figure, which some people might not appreciate or care for. I don't mind it at all. Yes, they could have probably done something a little bit more like the game, but being as the Ryu figure has already been thrown out there, you might as well have it looking very similar. Of course, you have the nice flowing belt. You have the nice shading that's actually going on within here. So that way it pops out a little bit more detail. You actually have some of the toenails, if you can see it right there. And what I really like, of course, is this translucent plastic that's going on in here, going down to the base, the dark base. What's interesting is if you notice back here, down here where it connects to the base, it actually uses an old style connector. I believe it's called a PS/2 connector, I'm not sure, but for those that might remember back in the older days when we had our computers, we actually connected our mice and keyboards this way using this type of thing because it allows some kind of sequence to be able to go through, not just power but also sequencing. And the face itself is really cool because you have the mouth right here. The mouth is actually open, it's actually cut out, so it's not just a flat color, a flat paint. So it's really cool. I like that little effect. Pretty solid figure, pretty heavy. Anyway, that's about it. But what we want to do next is connect everything together so that way you can see what it looks like. And we'll do that right now as you take a look at this short message.
Al and Lou will be right back.
From just beyond your imagination comes Omnibot, the fully programmable robot with a memory. Omnibot, he walks, he talks.
Hi, cutie.
Amaze your friends.
Intense. Refreshments, Earth-type snacks.
Impress your teacher. Impress your girlfriend. Omnibot, there's romance.
Take my heart.
He's the lean, mean, poppin', music machine. Yes, it's Omnibot, the fully programmable robot, available now in your neighborhood.
Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that brief commercial. Well, here we have Ken all put together. As you can see, we have Ken himself. We have this backdrop, which is actually very flush with the rest of the product. We have the barrel. We have the base, which is attached to the floorboard, and that's it. What I really like about this backdrop is it's actually a really quality product. If you can see it here in the lighting, it actually has a gloss to it. It's pretty thick. It's not going to break on you easily. And this base right here is actually a little bit abrasive, but it's not contoured or has this type of feel where you can actually feel these rectangular areas. It's just a nice little abrasive piece, so it actually feels nice and textured. And of course, the big thing right here, we have the button. What does this button do? Well, it provides the light and sound effect that people want to hear from this. So let's go ahead and press the button. Isn't that pretty awesome? I love the way the light comes from the bottom all the way up top, just like you would see in the game, where he brings his fist up and the fire, it gets emitted through it. Let's hit it one more time from this angle. And then you have the fading. You know, the fading could be a little bit better. I kind of don't care so much for the blinky lights, but maybe they could have had it faded from, you know, the bottom going back up. I don't know, but it still is a nice effect. All right, this thing is pretty expensive though. It's not for everybody. It's about $140 or so. But, you know, it's something that I wanted to have that represents my childhood growing up with some of my favorite video games, such as Street Fighter 2. So let's hit it one more time before we move on and show Ken and Ryu side by side. And that's pretty much it. Very basic figure. Now let's get on to Ken and Ryu side by side. All right, so here we have Ken and Ryu side by side. They do look pretty good together. There are a couple things that will probably bother people, such as myself. One is Ken appears to be a little bit larger than Ryu does. So the size, I wish that they were a lot more comparable, but it could be just due to the fact that Ken is outstretched, where Ryu is in a more compact position. Well, that being said, probably the most obvious problem that people will have will be the scenario that they're placed in. Yes, these two pieces do come from the video games. However, why didn't they put it the same? Why aren't they both on the ship, or why aren't they both with the Japanese looking background back there? I don't know why. That's something that they should have done. I think it would have brought a more seamless transition to the whole piece. Instead, now you have two different, completely looking different backdrops, so that it doesn't look like they're fighting each other. Whereas, had they been both on the same backdrop, obviously it would have looked more like they were fighting each other. Now that's just one point of view. The other point of view could very well simply be that, you know what, not everybody's gonna get one piece or the other. Yes, this one probably adheres more to Ken. This is more Ken setting. This is a more Ryu setting. However, I really would have liked to see them both the same backdrops, or if anything, at least provide the option. So have another base that looks similar to this one, the counter to this, or have a backdrop that's a counter to that. Just so that way, because they are brothers, right? You know, pseudo brothers. And it would have been great to have them facing against each other. Putting them together does not mean that they actually talk to each other or have any kind of rhythm together or anything like that. They just are simply standalone pieces. That being said, I forgot to mention two things. So, with both pieces, you do need a Phillips head screwdriver and 3 AAA batteries for each one of these. It does, obviously, it'll come with it. You need to have it because you'll be disappointed if you don't have it and open it up and try to plug it in and nothing functions. That you'll be a little bit disappointed. Anyway, let's press them both together and see what they look like. Now, to me, Ryu seems a lot louder than Ken. Let's do it again. Quite a bit louder, definitely. Now, the other thing I have to mention is for both figures, when you put them down and they're in their set position, if you move them slightly, the lighting effect will not work correctly. Kind of annoying. I don't know why that is, but let's see what happens. Okay, it works fine. You notice that the lighting effect is not there now. You can hear it, but no lighting effect. So you have to try to get in the right spot. You see how it flashes there? Now it looks like I got in the right spot. Same with Ryu. I noticed that earlier. If it doesn't happen again, well, you know, I don't want to force it. So anyway, it seems to be working fine right now. I don't want to try to force the issue, but I did notice that before. So right now it's working fine. I'm not going to mess with it too much. What would happen was you would see this bright light and it wouldn't go through the whole sequence of it fading away. Same with that. Sometimes you might not have the whole sequence. Anyway, They do look good together. They are going to go on my shelf, and I'm glad to have them. I just wish that both the backdrops would have been the same, or at least provided that. Anyway, one last time, same time. And there you have it. That's our quick little review. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to the next time. Until then, keep collecting what makes you happy and display it proudly.
Excellent review on that Ken figure, bro. But let's talk about another video game character, shall we? How about Hubert, my favorite of all classic video game characters of all time. So let's see if you remember. Okay guys, so we know Hubert's been around for a long time, and we've been lucky to see him on the big screen. First in 2012 with Wreck-It Ralph, and then in 2015 with the Pixels movie. But do you remember back in the days when he had his very own cartoon show? Yeah, it was part of Saturday Supercade. You remember?